No, your eyes and ears do not deceive you. It is not Friday night. It's a Monday night edition of Explain Yourself. There are three things that you can count on this life: death, taxes, and Will Allred and Kevin Joseph making sure that we can get Rob Multari on Explain Yourself by any means possible. And to
Absolutely.
do that with him closing this Wednesday, we had to pull out all stops. Normally I give Will the first hello, but we gotta go quick. Rob, how the heck are you, buddy?
Good. How are you guys? I appreciate you guys making this extra special show for me.
You know what? I'll always for you always and forever. And now, Will, how the heck are you doing?
I'm awake and here, so that's a plus.
We like those things. We like when you're awake and here. Here being not here, but here.
Yeah.
The royal here.
You gotta love StreamYard. We can be here without being anywhere near each other. So that's
Exactly.
a beautiful thing. So it's these little mini episodes we do. We can kind of go off track a little bit. So normally we do our little 30-second pitch, but we've got 30 minutes for you, Rob. So you don't have to be quite as pithy. But we do want to talk about the project before Will and I decide to go off on complete tangents. So please, for the completely uninitiated, please let them know what Snow Paw is, what Nightwolf is, what your entire universe is, and go.
Right on. So I'm Rob Multari. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the creator and writer of Snow Paw, as well as the hit series Nightwolf. I'm also the founder of Lone Wolf Comics, which is my self-publishing imprint. Nightwolf is a story about a young man who finds out that he's born a werewolf and gets thrown into a supernatural war against demons, witches, vampires, other werewolves. And Snow Paw is his mentor during that series in the modern time. Now, Snow Paw, her story takes place in the 19th century Scotland. So the elevator pitch for that is a fierce heroine with an adventurous spirit nearly gives into the social expectations of her time, but a trite fairy tale ending is not meant to be, as Cyrilla McKinley discovers her werewolf lineage and her eyes are open to the first time to supernatural beings and creatures of fantasy.
That is absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous wordy words. But let's go to the page so we can see the gorgeous arty art by I believe Mog Park is back on issue 2.
That's right. Yes, Mog Park and Bruna Costa. So Mog is the illustrator and Bruna is the colorist. And thankfully, and hopefully she wins, Bruna was actually nominated for a Ringo Award for Best Colorist for issue number 1 of Snow Paw. So hopefully,
awesome.
Actually, this weekend I think is the Baltimore Comic-Con where they announced the winners. So we are keeping fingers crossed for that.
So we're going to be talking about Ringo nominated Snow Paw, which it's still true.
Yeah,
it is the book.
It's true,
yeah. No, we've got there are a couple of people that have been on the show that we're kind of rooting for. We got Fellhound has something. Yep. David Byrne's his steak books have something going on. DC Hopkins, my letterer, is up. Not for anything in Tart, but that's okay. We're going to still root for him. So yeah, we'll be paying attention, and good luck. That will be a pretty darn amazing, little feather in the cap if that counts. So let's look at the page. Let's look at this beautiful coloring that could win a Ringo.
All right, so. We got the page up here. All right. Do we even want to bother with the video, or should I just run through?
You know what? If we do people are listening on the podcast, all they're going to hear are a couple grunts and things. So let's not do the video.
Fair enough.
They look great during the live broadcast, but the podcast is just not quite as whelming.
Well, they'd have some nice bagpipes.
we like things to be overwhelming, not barely whelming.
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and scroll through the page. And so here's the so we'll start. This is the issue 1 covers that I have rotating here through this nice little Giphy, or however you pronounce it, these GIF, whatever.
I scream out a Ludovic Salé cover that I noticed during the.
Of course. I mean, I always shout that thing out. I mean, he might be annoyed that I do so much.
No.
But yeah, I mean, he's got, you know, that's
Right there.
right there.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that leads us into the issue 2 covers, where there's a lot of great covers this time around too. I mean, just so, you know, I even tell like people like, you know, it's hard for me to pick a favorite.
Mm.
So, and I like to play a game during my campaigns, and I say, hey, you know, what's your favorite cover? And it was a lot of people were like naming several. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I can't exactly count that towards any winnings, you know, but I, yes, but I mean, I did like, so the favorite one for issue 2 ended up being the Rio Burton Silvermane cover right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's pretty great. I mean, they're all great, but that
Oh,
one's
they are, yeah.
awesome.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, you know, I love Kalen's. I love what Kalen Smith. I love Moggs. You know, this is that was Megan Alfert's, and Carlos's, of course, Corolla Borelli, and Bruno's. I mean, and then, you know, of course, the issue 1s are all a bunch of great ones as well. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's just so much great art involved in this book, and not just cover art. I mean, the pages themselves, as we see here. I mean, I never knew that, like, you know, the books could pop so much. I mean, I've seen so many great different books. I mean, Gat does a great job with Nightwolf, but of course, it's more of a darker, and you know, he has a lot more contrast into his. But this has like like a, you know, a spring feel, like, you know what I mean. Like, you feel like you're in the environment. You could see the, you know, the haze from the sky. It just so many great colors. Bruno does a great job, and Mog's detail. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's just, I'm still blown away by a lot of it, and I see it every day. You know, and I remember like sharing these back with you, like, you know, way when we first started the issue, and I'm just like, so I was so excited to be able to
Hold on
share.
one second. Does Snow Paw have 2 different colored eyes?
She does.
Okay, I never realized that before because you shared it black and white. That's cool.
Yeah, so she's always had. So I've always wanted that, like, you know, since she's a werewolf, and wolves sometimes have the different colored eyes, like huskies do, and other dogs. So I kind of wanted to have that as a cool thing, like, that shows that she has that, like, you know, canine genome in there. And it's, you know, it's not a normal thing, and I think too, like, a lot of people were like kind of like curious by like her actions here with the whole deer and the you know, being able to pounce on the deer with just a knife. And then, like, in that one scene where she's coming into the house with the deer on her shoulders, it's because she, you know, she doesn't know she's a werewolf yet here,
Right.
but she has that instinct in her. She has that strength in her, much like Rodney does in Nightwolf. Like, that's why he's such a you know, yeah, he's got a football scholarship because he's already naturally athletic, and he's got that, you know, above, you know, it's basically an unfair advantage, but it all gets taken away from him anyway. So it's not, you know what I mean? It just shows that, like, you know, they both have these unnatural abilities that they're ahead of, you know, the average teen. And but yeah, I mean, for her parents, when she comes in, it's, you know, it's more so they're just mad that she's disrespectful rather than the fact that she's doing these weird things. You know what I mean? Because they're used to that, and they're in the way, like, my werewolves are. They are born. They're not bitten. They're not cursed. They're born this way. But this breed of werewolf, it's kind of like a recessive gene. So, like, her family has the gene in them, but they don't. It doesn't come out. They don't change. You know what I mean? To them, it's not like it's, you know, abnormal for her to be this strong and you know, just, she's just, you know, got that wild nature in her, you know? So, like, they're used to her shenanigans, despite the you know, her father's, you know, wishes to her to be a little more normal. You know, for the time period in the 19th century, you know, women, you know, are basically, you know, they're more submissive to the men, and they get married, and usually it's for whatever reasons. And in this case, she's betrothed to a rich man to save their family farm. And she just wants to go out and have a life of adventure, you know? So, but I did really want to kind of like drive that point home, that, like, she, you know, is fighting against the grain of her time, and, you know, and just just play with that idea. Like I had fun with it, and I think being girls out there could relate to that, in a way. And my wife, and she's my first reader, so she definitely gets it. She understands. She kind of helped me through that a little bit before handing it off to Katrina Rhodes, who is my editor for the book. So I mean, I have a lot of female influence in the series to help kind of push that along to make sure that I'm not just doing what I think is right.
I'm going to stop you there. Does Katrina also edit Nightwolf?
She does not.
She doesn't. Okay, so
No,
do you have an editor on
I
Nightwolf?
do. He's not an official editor. I mean, he's official
Right.
for my book, but he so basically he's my cousin-in-law. He writes his own.
Is that a cousin who's a lawyer?
No,
you really jumped on the in-law. Like I felt like I was watching a TV show.
Because he's married to my cousin, so he's a cousin-in-law.
So what I want to do now is, we're going to stop for about 40 minutes, and we are going to create a television show called Cousin-in-Law. And guys, $100 million split 3 ways. I think it's going to. Why don't we not record it for the public, because someone else could do it? But I'm going to tell you this right: trademark Kevin, Rob, and Will, cousin-in-law. Okay, so your cousin-in-law is your editor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so he does like these little he has his own stories and his own stuff that he does, and he also is very well versed in nerd culture. He basically runs a D&D out of his basement out in Ohio, and does a bunch of stuff like that. But he's an IT guy for their local school. He basically runs the entire school through the IT. Yeah, I mean, he knows his stuff. So he did a great job kind of helping me to think about stuff. And then, there are things that I either missed or, just in general with it. I think, but for this, I wanted a female perspective, whereas Ryan, who is the gentleman we were talking about, Nightwolf is kind of more from a male perspective, so that kind of helped cater to that, right? So whereas this is from a female perspective as the heroine, I wanted it to be from a female's true perspective and not just two dudes, one dude writing it, one dude editing it, and then hoping that it makes sense.
Right. No, that makes total sense.
But yeah, I mean, so in going back to the coloring and the
art, you have Mog Park doing the art, so you have a female eye doing the art on this as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have two females doing the artwork. Mog Park, who is an acclaimed Game of Thrones illustrator, and Bruno Costa, who is our Ringo nominee. With this beautiful art here, the combination between the two, I mean, for me, it's like a match made in heaven. Just again, the way, the transitions to the scenes, you can tell there's a completely different feel. The detail again is just, you get seeing the villain for the first time, really, gets the emotion and the threat level. And then, we have these little hidden fellers here staring off, wondering, what involvement they have, what I know, but no, you guys don't know. Yeah, right. So then here we have then we jump into issue 2, where I introduce a brand new villain. And again, it's a whole, we're going to the Amazon. So we're now in Brazil, and, introducing a whole new, environment and jungle here. And, and fun little fact that I didn't mention when we were going through the pages of the first one, I have these hidden little characters throughout the books, and at the end of each issue, I have a creature appendix, saying these creatures are hidden throughout the book. Did you find them? And then, which is kind of for me, it's a fun little thing. Kind of takes me back to Where's Waldo and the She-Ra, Blinky, when back in the 80s, where did you find me at the end of the episode thing, if you remember that. But yeah, for me, I thought that was a fun interactive piece, and I hope people enjoy it, because I enjoy finding the creatures because he's a Brazilian folklore. And
Okay.
so, like, I mean, I find like the local, wherever where the location is at the time, whether it's Scotland, London, or here we
Yeah.
are in Brazil.
If you're doing Ireland, you might have a silky or
Right.
whatever. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm trying to keep it like, I wanted to show that these mythology creatures or folklore creatures exist, and they're talked about for a reason. You know what I mean? Even though like people may not believe them anymore or whatever,
Hmm.
I wanted to show that they do exist, but they're oblivious. The people are oblivious to their existence. They're just there.
Right.
But there are instances where people do see them. In this case, it does not bode well for our drunken fellow here.
No, not so much.
Again,
I thought the Lord was supposed to take care of drunks and idiots. What happened?
well, he ended up freeing a forest demon, if you will, from his prison, and that did not bode well for him.
No, rarely does.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, now so this is the new villain that I'm introducing into the series, who actually he's like one of those chaotic evil that just wants to destroy.
Hmm.
So he gives both sides of the coin the business. Yeah.
Right.
So the good and the bad have to deal with him in the end. Which is fun for me, because then I just kind of like, everybody's like, oh, here's the big bad in the first issue. Now, wait, what's this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and that helps too with having fun with cliffhangers. But here we are back to like where we're finally being truly introduced to Silvermane and Aki Leo. Silvermane being the werewolf who soon becomes Snow Paw's mentor, and Aki Leo, who is his battle companion, who happens to be a werelion. And I also like that. I wanted to have a different type of were creature, because I wanted to establish that there are not just werewolves in this world, but there are so different throughout like the world. There are different were creatures. Or were beasts, as my mythology calls them. But yeah, so I mean, like, this is where we kind of get into the battle with, showing that this werewolf isn't just a werewolf. He's actually the top of what I call the Dark Covenant. So he has more than just power than just being a werewolf. He's able to summon like demons and creatures of the night to be able to come to his side, which what we see here is a Knuckleave. Basically charging through the woods, to his beck and call, and then just a battle then ensues.
No, that's awesome. Now, I know that you've said that Night Wolf could kind of go for a while. I don't know if there's an actual end, but I know it can be many, many, many issues. How long can Snow Paw go if everything continues to go great, because you're doing fabulous with this campaign? So
originally I had it planned for 4 issues with the ability to continue, which probably it still is the case. So the fact that it's been so popular, I probably will continue on. But the 4 issues is going to be the first volume regardless. So this story arc will end at issue 4.
Gotcha.
However, we are able to continue because there's 200 years between the events of Nightwolf and Snow Paw. So, Snow Paw being first, leading up to the point where she meets him. So, I mean, I have decades to play with. You know what I mean? So I have a lot. I mean, I could even time jump and still have plenty of material. But for right now, I am enjoying playing with the historical fantasy, and I could jump different periods, but again, right now I'm having fun, and I do like time period pieces. 18th, 19th century stuff's fun for me, and I enjoy that as a reader and watching TV and stuff and movies. So I felt this was a good place to play with, and there's so much history and time in this period that I can play with, and I love doing the research for it. I've actually learned a lot more doing the research for the series than I remember even from like just history or just watching.
Oh right, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where I'm at as far as where like the story is. I have the ability to continue on, which I plan to do. Just time is always a factor. Right now I'm kind of rotating between the two series.
Right.
Also plan on I have 3 other titles that I would like to get in the mix, but again, time is going to be a factor. The more I can do these Kickstarters, the faster I can put them out, which I have been.
Right.
But again, it also, like, I have 12 issues of the first story arc of Nightwolf, and I'm halfway through. We're
Right.
on 7 now. So I mean, that's picking up, and it's just so much up here with little time, to do it all.
As a reader, though, it feels like you're able to kind of just now that you have Snow Paw going, Nightwolf 5, Snow Paw 1, Nightwolf Snow Paw 2, working on Nightwolf 7. It feels very like a good strategy from the outside. So as a reader of your books, it feels like it's working. And I know that you'd rather have a Nightwolf, a Snow Paw, and I'm gonna forget the other characters' names. The space, the suit up guy. I know that you want to play with all of your different toys that you have put into Nightwolf, but
Right.
I think you're doing great so far.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, and if I remember right, you're the letterer on Snow Paw, is that right?
No, I'm the letterer for Nightwolf. Snow
okay.
Paw, I handed off to Dave Lentz.
Cool.
Because with Nightwolf being scripted so far in the past, like the script happened in 2013. That was when it was final.
Wow.
So there is a little bit of adjusting that I've made now that I'm a little bit more mature and more experienced in doing this. So as the issues have gone on, I've actually been able to kind of like change the dialogue a little bit as I've been doing it. That, and plus, like Carlos, there's sometimes a little loss in translation since he's from Chile and his English isn't so good. So like sometimes like I have to like make some lateral moves with like the dialogue, even because like his art.
Will and I wouldn't know that with our 2 French artists and 1 Italian artist. Is that right, Will?
No, he is not Brazil. Where's Pablo? Argentina.
Okay,
Argentina.
so you've got an Argentinian and a Frenchman, or a French lady, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I've got a Frenchman. Yeah, no, we understand that translation
totally.
can be an issue.
Yeah, exactly. And the art usually is so good that like
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yes.
matter of fact, like he sent me a 2-page roughs from, and his roughs are practically done.
Wow.
He has to clean it up. You know what I mean? So he sent me for issue 7. He sent me 2-page roughs for a scene that was supposed to be a continuation from a scene in issue 6, but he ended up making it a different background and stuff and different like area. And I was like, oh, this is supposed to be a continuation of this. And he's like, oh no, I worked all weekend on this. And I was like, shit. Okay, I'll change it.
Yeah, I with Ludo one time, I don't remember how he did it, but he just kind of sent me the finished pages. And I was like, this thing contradicts what we're going for. We have to fix this because of these things. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't send you any roughs. All right. And he went back. I felt terrible, but there was no way on that particular thing to go with the art what was there. It was definitely like, like I drew somebody dying that it has to live for 8 issues later or something like that. I was like, I'm sorry, man. I really would have tried to help you out. So they get excited though. The passion is important. I love that they're passionate.
Yes, and luckily it goes to that scene where like Lord Malice is kind of like convincing Jennifer, Rodney's girlfriend, that she is this, his past, love, Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. And like there's a lot of confusion that's been going on, and like they've been kind of like magically manipulating her dreams in a way and her reality. So there's a lot of that been going on from like issue 5 and 6, and this continues into it. Like at the end of like 6, she basically like cut the bullshit. What's going on? It was supposed to continue from that point. So like they're in one restaurant and he has it switching in issue 7 to like a totally different restaurant. She's wearing different clothes. But like the way he did it, like instead of like I had the script where like she's still like mad at him. It's almost like a soap opera left off from one episode to another.
Right.
And like she's like supposed to be looking at him still pissed, but instead she's looking around confused. So it kind of plays into it a little bit. So it wasn't such a bad thing that I could change it to just continue the mind manipulation or
Yeah.
And then that kind of really sinks in like, okay, we just literally like either I just literally lost like days of memory or something is really not cool because we just had
everything's different.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all of a sudden I'm in a different place wearing different clothes. This is not right. What, so I can make it work. But it wasn't the way it was supposed to be.
Right. I get that totally.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's with Mog though, like she has a better grasp of the English language, so it's easier, like as far as like handing off, like, and I write Snow Paw as more on the fly.
Okay.
So like the like I finished the issue 1 script, got it edited, handed it to Mog. Finished issue 2 script, sent it to get edited, handed it to Mog. You know what I mean?
Right. Not 2013. In 2013, I wrote. What did you write? Like 24 scripts at that point? You had told me before. You had written a lot.
12 issues.
The whole first arc is written.
Yeah. The whole first arc was finished by 2013, and that's when Carlos and I first started working together.
Okay.
But it took us a long time to get where we before we finally started.
Will, are you going to make fun of him? Because I'm certainly not.
Nope.
I'm in the boat with you, the slow boat, but we're making progress, and that's all that matters, right?
Forward motion is still forward motion.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. So,
the sharks of our comics are not incredibly strong, but they're alive.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's kind of like it's a fresh script, so I'm not as concerned with somebody else doing the lettering.
Right.
I am with Nightwolf. Nightwolf, I make things on the fly, whereas like this script's already like it was just freshly done. I'm not making any changes, so I just hand it off to Dave and just make sure that it turns out right in the end. Which he's done a great job. I mean, I'm glad to have him, and it's saved me time because I can't do everything, especially having the more titles I have in hand. I think once I start writing Nightwolf again, starting with, I have issue 13 partially written. So I think once I get to the point where I'm writing 13, I think I could probably hand that off to either Dave or somebody else to do the lettering.
That makes sense.
So that way I could then focus back on other things, maybe like writing. I don't know. So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at right now. I'm like, man, I wish I had more time to do the thing I do. But yeah, so we'll continue on here. So, again, we're talking about the hidden creature index. These, like I said, the fun little things we got. We have a bunch of milestones unlocked, and we're actually really close. So where are we at here? We're closing in on 600. Like we're really
that's amazing, buddy. That is amazing.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I went all the way back down.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. So number 7 is almost unlocked at the 600 mark. So that's another freebie that'll be coming. Right now we have a bunch of digitals that unlock. We have this cool die cut sticker based off of the cool sketch cover that Mog did for me this summer when we first met in Chicago. We met in Chicago, I wanted her to do this gorgeous beauty right here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that she brought this. I had her sign it. Like we got her video of her signing it at the con, and it came out gorgeous. So I thought it was so cool that I had to do something with it. And so I basically I scanned it and then made a did a few Photoshop manipulation of it so I could make it, pop a little bit there, and it came out really, really good, awesome. I can't wait for people to get these cool samurai Snow Paw stickers.
Nice.
And then, of course, continuing on with the Lone Wolf Comics trading card set, we now have Akilio unlocked as far as for the trading cards. And then we also have, which I'm not going to, we have the next two. I would love to get the 800 backers. That would be the most I've ever had. Snow Paw 1 almost hit 800 backers. So,
wow, nice.
Yeah, so that would, for me, is if I could get to that, would be a personal goal. As well as just knowing that like I'm doing something right, but I
think over 500 backers, you're doing something right.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think you're doing 567. You're doing something right, man.
Well, thank you. Yes.
800 backers, you're doing something unfriggin' believable.
But yeah, so that's my personal goal right now is reaching that 800 mark. Of course, I love that I have a lot of returning backers. I have a lot of new backers. I'm happy for every Wolfpack member to come back or new. And like I said, I love to give away free stuff. So even when I even give away like the full moon exclusives and the early bird stuff. Throughout every campaign, I always do something where I'm like, they don't even have to like really unlock anything. It's just like, hey, here you go, here's free stuff. You get a print. You get a print. But there are some things that I do. You got to make a challenge, right? It's kind of like a game, and I want to level myself up as much as I'm trying to level them up. So that's why, like, I set my personal goal where we have here. I kind of spread them out. Last time I had it. Like, I think there was another like row and like 800 was the last. So it was like almost every 150 or something. Like it was like bam, 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 bam. And there's so many like things. I was like, oh my God. I'm like fulfillment was crazy. And then like, again, with the stretch goals is another thing that I try to, so I think the highest I've ever personally gone with stretch goals was like in the 2250. Like, so I think like the last two campaigns were in between here. I have yet to unlock these stages yet, which I would love to, and I'd love the Wolfpack to bring us there. But either way, why?
Yeah, why would you want to make $25,000?
Well, there's so many things that like I would love to like show and present, and like I have all these things planned, and then when they don't get hit, I go, oh.
Yeah, I had one person ask me why an epilogue that I did was digital and not in the book because they liked it, and I took it as a compliment. I was like, well,
funny,
because the stretch goal said we needed to get to whatever amount of money, and we didn't get close enough that I could fudge it. Look, if we would have gotten within $300, I bet it would have been in the book. But since we were like 1,200 away, we didn't make it.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, that's like when we did like the trade, and I had y'all like the extra 4 pages that you and Tyler, Travis, and Madeline.
Yeah.
I was so like, I'm like, please unlock these. Please unlock these. I'm like,
listen. No. You didn't say that. I was the 4th of the 4 writers. I was the one saying, please unlock this. I wasn't the first one unlocked. I was like, come on, Rob.
I know, and you're like, you were the first one to deliver when the art was the first one done.
Never. What's that? No good deed goes unpunished. But I will say, no matter how it got in the book, it's in the book. So however you did it, I love it.
No matter what, it would have been in there. But I'm so glad it did unlock because like that book ended up costing me way more than was originally quoted.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask before, like I was going to ask, but it came up. That hardcover, is that an add-on that can be added to this?
It's
campaign?
actually part of the tiers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in there. So there's a standard catch up. So I guess there's a standard experience, if you will, a Snow Paw experience where you get everything that Snow Paw's in, which means issues 1 and 2 plus Nightwolf Volume 1 soft cover, and then 5 and 6. The deluxe experience it contains the the hardcover with higher end variants. And then I don't have it as an add-on, but I will have it as an add-on in backer kit.
Right. Okay.
Like I already have a ton of add-ons, and we all know that Kickstarter hasn't quite caught up to backer kit yet.
Right.
So I figured I'd focus on the ones that help this campaign along.
Right.
Whereas like the single issues and all the other stuff, like, can be added in backer kit later.
Now, if the soft cover is really, really good, and if you want to save a couple bucks, but the hardcover is gorgeous. It's a die cut hardcover.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This isn't just because I'm in it. I don't get any extra money. Rob's already taken very good care of me for my very small work, 4 pages of writing. But it's an amazing book. So I recommend the hardcover if you got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's a gorgeous piece. And I actually, my last con in Cincinnati, I sold more of these bad boys than anything else, which I was completely shocked. It made my weekend. Like I was shocked at like how, like, people were like, "Oh yeah, I want that. I don't care." I'm like, okay then. I will not deny you, sir. Would you like me to sign it?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, so, and then so the stretch goals for this, again, I have a lot of add-ons. I have a lot of reveals. The reveals are like either stuff for like the next campaign or another like project that I've been working on. They're all either Snow Paw or Nightwolf related, and it's just a lot of cool stuff that I've been working on that like I can show, or at least like these, the stretch goals, basically like this extra money goes towards these things. Doing the freelance work.
Right.
But like it's all cool stuff, and I want to share so badly. I've been like I've even held back showing stuff. Like I wanted to just post stuff because it's so cool.
Will and I will let you. We're cool.
You guys have seen some of it already. I've shared it with you guys in like group chats. But like public to the world, I'm like, not yet. I've been holding you hostage.
I tried to get the exclusive. Well, he didn't bite.
I know he didn't bite. He didn't go for it.
Well, you guys already know them, so
yeah.
So, but yeah, for we have the first 2 stretch goals knocked down. We got the pins, which I think I have one. Oh yeah, the enamel pin for the logo.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, and this is the first time I've used like wizard pins. The last time for Nightwolf I had Skeleton Crew, but I think the quality was just as good, and I'm pretty sure it might have been a hair cheaper.
Okay. I've worked with Skeleton and I love them, but the more people who can give you good product, the better.
That's just it. Like I tried going back to them, but they had some kind of issue with their manufacturer doing the pins, and they still haven't found somebody.
With my pen.
Oh, was your pin the one that downfall?
Okay, so I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I am saying the Cherry Macomb pen. That before I tell the story, I'm going to say this: Skeleton Crew. The way they handled this was as exemplary a way a business can handle it as could possibly be asked. We did 500 Cherry Macabre pens, and Kickstarter went great. I sent them a check. They got on it 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. I get an email. There's something wrong with these pens. We're going to they did like a 20 pin check, and there was a problem with more than half of the pens. And they said, we're going to get back with you tomorrow. We have to go through every single pen now, because 500 pens, you spot check 20. If they're all good, it's going to be good.
Right. Yeah. But when you have 10 of them, 10 out of 20 that aren't good.
Of 500 pins, I believe something like 164 were perfect, which is a very low percentage. But they went through and they separated good and bad immediately. And before I could ask, they had reimbursed me for every single pin that wasn't right.
Oh wow.
And I mean, I could not ask for a better experience with somebody when the product wasn't what they wanted, much less what I wanted. Like I
Yeah,
didn't even have to call them up and say, "Hey, I found something weird." So that's what I'll say is I love the fact that they found the problem. They told me about the problem before I knew about it,
Yeah.
and they monetarily they made it right. And I'll figure something out hopefully with them soon. If not, I'll be messaging you saying, "Hey, they haven't found anybody yet.
Yeah.
Give me a contact at Wizard."
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, I mean, really, they have like an easy like website. You just upload your stuff, and they're like, hey, this is how it looks. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know, and with Skeleton, like, it's not like I'm never using them again. Like they're doing the development on another project which you guys are aware of that the public not so much.
Hey, you can tell it right here. I'm gonna put the bait out, Will. I'm just gonna keep putting it out.
Keep trying, man. Keep trying.
One point, he's gonna bite.
So they did see the sketches and the designs in the last. That was a stretch goal. And the Nightwolf one. So it's the plushy voodoo doll, obviously.
I wasn't gonna say it. I'm not gonna.
But I mean, like,
a plushie, like, hey, explain yourself exclusive.
Yes,
Rob just said plushie.
But I've never revealed the final product, which I do have here with me. I have my prototype, the final product that's gonna be mass produced. So I'm gonna run a Kickstarter for it, obviously.
Correct.
But because I can't just do that as an add-on. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that needs to be its own thing because that's going to be a big money dollar. Yeah.
But that's one of the stretch goals, and I'm not saying where. But like to actually reveal like the actual thing, and it's so cool. Like just the detail. Like pictures don't even do it justice. Like the amount of stitching and detail on this thing, I was shocked with what I was paying per unit, how detailed it was. I was like, I love this thing. And I think Skeleton Crew and their team, their factory did an amazing job. And I can't wait till this thing launches and, more people have this in their hands because it's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like then the second stretch goal is kind of like my one of my usual go-tos for a campaign is my little mini Lego figures. So this one unlocked Aki Leo, be able to play with, and then that
I know somebody else who's done Legos.
But yeah, you can get all these nice little Lego characters, limited editions.
What was your numbers on your Lego figures? Do you do like 100, 500?
I only do 100. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they're not cheap to make.
Right.
Saber Scorpion does a great job, but they're not cheap. So that's why I typically do them as a stretch goal, because if I don't, then it's like, I'm basically biting the bullet on them. I just love doing them because they're fun. For me to see my characters in Lego form, I've always been a fan of Legos growing up, and then my boys were too. So, it's a cool thing for me, and the wolf pack loves them. So it was for me. I've been doing them every campaign pretty much since the beginning, really. That once I was able to do it.
Nice.
Thank you, Tyler James, for that introduction.
Tyler James might have come up once or twice on the show.
I'm sure. Yeah, that fellow is always being talked about. I mean, it's like he's famous or something.
Yep.
But what was fun something different I've been doing with these stretch goals is I've been doing a giveaway, and each stretch goal, I give away a metal cover to a physical backer, and then a digital wallpaper to a digital backer, so that way everybody has a chance to win something. But yeah, the first one was a Ludo. But yeah, so every time something gets on, that's another reason why I want these stretch goals unlocked. I want to give free stuff, and that's not cheap free stuff. So that's good stuff. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of like where that is, and and again, I wanted to since I'm doing add-ons and reveals instead of freebies, I wanted to give something free in a manner of speaking. Right. But yeah, so again, the little Legos as we were talking about. I made a nice little GIF. And then we have like the fun little tags from everybody doing their the nice words that I appreciate so much. The Wolfpack and fellow creators. Chris Brimbridge did this cool TikTok for me, which this was a new thing for me to play with, adding a TikTok video to the page.
That's interesting. Yeah.
For the TikTok kids out there. And of course the Wolfpack. I keep adding pictures to this thing.
I see Chucky Bino.
Yeah, he's there. Yep.
My eyes have not picked anybody else up, but I picked Chuck out quick.
Well, we got Connor right here.
Oh, cool.
Who else we got?
Brant, I think, right? Bottom
Brant,
left.
Yeah, Brant,
Yep.
Nita. That's Henri Campaign.
People listening to the podcast are like, "This is not working."
Yeah,
But if you go to the YouTube page, it makes sense.
we got Ross Marquand. But yeah, no. So that the we'll move on since the podcast listeners are like, who are these people?
What?
Yeah, right. So yeah, some the nice shares that people have been gracious enough to provide, and yeah. So we're getting to the rewards. So I'm not going to go too much into the rewards, just because this is the typical stuff I do, right?
Yeah, they can find it.
We got the digital catch up. We got the standard mod cover. We have the variant covers. Since they're limited, they go up in price. But hey, if you can't do a variant, that's fine. We have the gorgeous one by Mark Park that there's nothing wrong with. Right?
Absolutely.
The collection. Plus, she's the interiors, right?
Right.
I always feel like you should have your interior artist be your main cover. You know what I mean?
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
So that's always a nice thing to have, and that's why I would love like having like a Carlos variant for this, because Carlos being my main artist for Nightwolf, I get to have him as one of the the goodies that people love like this. His art's amazing, and I wish I could clone him. There's so much stuff I could have him doing. Then you have like the full digital experience, so you can get all of you get the 1, 2, volume 1, and then 5 and 6 Nightwolf. You get the different catch-up tiers. Again, that's the typical stuff. So this is the standard experience that I was talking about, where you get all the physicals, and then you can get all. If you're the completist, and you've already gotten all of issue 1. And all of the Nightwolf books, this is for you. You can get all the variant covers, including the sketch cover for issue 2 here. And then you have, again, the deluxe. So we got the Ludo, we have the Rio Burton, we have the hardcover, and then we have Chris Williams, and we have Chris Enoch. And this, again, these were all. So the Nightwolf covers here were chosen strictly because they focused mainly on Snow Paw, considering this is her campaign.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then that's another reason I chose to do like the trades is because the extra stories that you and Tyler both have an extra Snow Paw story in both those chapters that you two worked on. So it made more sense to have the volumes be included instead of doing like the single issues for that.
Right.
And then we have the retailers starter kit where they can get 5 issues each of the singles, and then they can get a couple of the trades. Basically, like I said, it's a starter kit for them who, if they haven't been here with us yet. We have an Omega tier, which you can get all the swaggy stuff along with all the. And then we have another so we have a all cover kit for the retailers. We have the mystery boxes, which I think are the cooler things because 1, I love a good mystery box, and 2, it's guaranteed. So the Snow Paw mystery box is guaranteed all of the variants from issue 1 and issue 2, as well as the pin, the Lego, and the mystery CGC. And it's guaranteed you're going to get a 9 point something.
Okay.
And it could be any of these covers that you see there.
Cool.
So you're hogging the 10.0s, huh? I see. I see what's happening.
If I ever get a 10.0, I will do a happy dance live and be like, "Who wants it?" I will do a live auction on the spot because that would be the only one in existence.
They are super, super, super rare, but there is a Scout Comics variant of Tart #1 that came in as a 10.0.
Oh, nice.
I don't know that it's at Scout headquarters. So
yeah, they went in there with like gloves on their hands and picked it up and hand delivered it to Sarasota.
I tell you what, she is purdy.
I'm sure. I mean, I don't doubt that. I've only ever seen the highest I've ever seen is a 9.8. Yeah. I've seen a 9.9 in the wild of somebody else's book, and I've seen a 10.0 in the wild of somebody else's book, but not of any of mine yet. So if that ever happens, everybody will know. Then we have the collector's mystery box for the Lone Wolf Comics. So basically, this is all of. So you'll get this is a complete mystery, and you'll get a lot of high end stuff. So all of the high end variants, you get one each for issues 1 through 6 of Nightwolf. The mystery CGC, which is either Snow Paw or Nightwolf. You get a mystery hoodie, you get a mystery T-shirt, mystery hat, mystery mask. Don't worry if you're worried about sizing issues. I will make sure that the size is there. But it's going to be a mystery. As far as like I
like the thought that you might get like a Genesis hoodie and you might get like like an Atari hat. I like the fact that it could be any swag, like not just Nightwolf. I know that it's going to be Nightwolf, but I love the fact that you just
it could be Snow Paw.
I hate Maroon 5. How come I got a Maroon 5?
So the fun thing to like usually I have this has been like the Nightwolf or the Lone Wolf Comics logo has been my go-to embroidery for hat. I have the beanie, I have this, but this campaign I'm introducing this lovely little ditty here with a Snow Paw embroidered logo, as well as the next Nightwolf campaign is going to have this Nightwolf embroidered thing. So there's a lot more variety here than there used to be. I see all these boxes, they're full of stuff I need to get rid of.
Gotta do it.
Right? Yeah. And then, the Lego, of course, you saw all 6 that I have here. Just because it looks like one of them doesn't mean that's going to be the one you're going to get. But yeah, and then we have the, the Alpha Pack or Alpha Pack member tier where you can get a 9.8 signed by me and Mog. So this is a rare because I only have 8 of them.
Yeah, no, signed 9.8 is pretty amazing.
Yeah, by both of us. I mean, that is rare as rare can be, because we live on opposite sides of the country. So, and I was dumb enough only to have a few sign instead of being like, you sit here and you sign all day.
Well, that's true, but you have to pay for every CGC. So
exactly.
It's not too dumb to make that rare too.
That bill wasn't cheap. I had sent in a lot of different things that time because I have to fill mystery boxes.
Correct.
But you got so I have the swag. You got the hat, mask, pin, the Lego included. This includes again all of the singles for Snow Paw, and it has includes the variant cover for the trade as well. You get all 3 trades, all 3 versions. And then you also get all of the Nightwolf 5 and 6 variants, except for a specific 2 that will not be mentioned in this campaign. And then we have commission art by Carlos. He'll do whatever you want. And yeah, it could be a cover. It could be just for fun, whatever. If you have something out there, Carlos will do it. He does an amazing job. I love his art. And then you get all issues 1 through 6, plus all the, of Nightwolf and all the Snow Paw. So you get all the singles in this pile up.
Yeah.
And then you yourself could be drawn into the book, which this fine gentleman, he has been in both issues. He actually plays a key role moving forward, even into the Nightwolf universe. He wanted to be nefarious, so I said, I will make you nefarious, sir.
He's the one character guaranteed to live because
Yeah, because he'll be around for the next 200 years. And Will, I believe you might know this gentleman.
Oh, yes, he was actually he commissioned himself as the dreamer in Crossword Division #1.
That's right. Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's amazing.
recognized him as soon as I read your book, and I was like, oh, he did, because we ran at about the same time. And
Yep.
I was like, oh, this guy. So yes,
I am so happy for both of you, and I'm wondering why he wasn't in Tart 14. We got to talk to this guy.
Well, I thought, I was like, I'm like, yeah, man, I'll make you nefarious. It's cool. I'm like, and what's nice about this is, yes, it's a high price tag. However, you're not just being drawn in a one-time basis. You are actually becoming a character involved in this universe.
Correct. Right.
So, I mean, it's to me, like, I think it's worth it because it's cool having, like this guy, like I said, this guy is going to be around all the way through Nightwolf. He got himself a deal. And then that's so now we're back into like the stretch or the add-ons. So we have the different sketch covers, the Lego figures you can add there, the apparel items, which I don't usually do separate as add-ons, but I did for the last campaign, so I thought I'd do it here again just for fun. The metal covers you can add on for issue 1, and then Mog you can get a remark commission. You can see the dwarf from issue 2 that she did on this issue 1 here. It was a little harder to see at this level, so I had to put the the box around so you could see that it was there. And then so for this is a sketch cover commission. It's not a full color one, so that's why I made mine look more pencil, so that to kind of show you'll get a detailed pencil rendition for them. That's what she was offering, and I was like, okay, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Also, we can do the nice art. She did these original pieces of art for this campaign, and one of them sold this gorgeous kind of like Skinwalker thing we got going on here, sold. And then we have the steampunk version of her outfit, the Dwarven Outfitter, and then we have Beauty and the Beast here. And then we have some original pages from issue 1, some Nightwolf original art, and then we get into who the team is, and who
you've already talked about. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, oh, and we also have crossovers, which their campaigns ended. So unless you're yeah. Unless we're gonna back.
Let's not talk about the stuff people can't get.
Yeah. So the Dream Quest, however, Clay Adams is still alive.
No, nice.
You can back up both Clay and I and get this gorgeous piece by Mick Byers and my Nightwolf colorist, Gat Melvin. And then also Monster Matter.
Yeah, that's still
another one. So he's live. He isn't funded yet. So this is a good opportunity for anybody watching or listening. Go back him. So you can get this gorgeous piece here by Carlos Herrera.
Cool.
And that's that brings us to basically the end. So join the Wolfpack, folks.
Nah, Rob, you're one of our favorite people. Really happy to sneak you in here before you close out. And basically, that's it. Yeah, join the Wolfpack. Enjoy. It's a fun fantasy. Rob does not worry about body count, so yeah. I would say enjoy these issues, but don't get too close to any character except Snow Paw. I can promise you she makes it 200 years because I've read Nightwolf. That's about it. Don't get attached because some people don't make it too many pages in a Rob Multari comic.
I mean, what's funny is like when I wrote Nightwolf, and there's like a lot of characters who basically get Red Wedding.
Yes.
That was
red Prommed, right?
Yeah.
Red Homecoming, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is funny because I wrote all that stuff before that became the thing with like Game of Thrones. I was like, man, I was killing people before.
Before it was cool.
You're starting your last 48-hour surge, right?
In about looks like what 29 minutes. Yeah, 29 minutes. Nice. That's the last 48-hour surge to be coming in. Dun, dun, dun.
All right, awesome.
Well, Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I am beat, and it is a school night, so I am going to say really appreciate you coming on. Everybody, check out Snow Paw, and if you can catch up with the Night Wolf stuff too, I highly recommend it. Yes, love for you to get the hardcover just because you can see my 4 pages, but you get whatever you like because the meat is what Rob wrote, and the little delicacy is what Tyler, Madeline, Travis, and I got to add. We added some spice, but it was all basically under Rob's direction. So we didn't mess up too much, I hope.
Oh no, you guys took my ideas and you made them your own, and it was amazing. Like the way it all
Awesome.
came out. I loved honestly, like those are like some of my favorite pages, like in the trades for sure. Like every time like I watch somebody open up the book at a con, I'm like, oh, I love that page. I love it.
It's easier to be cocky about what someone else did in your book than what you did. You get real cocky. Like I'm real cocky about the art in my books.
Yeah.
It's just easy to be. Yeah, that page looks beautiful. I know it does.
Yeah, exactly. They, like the artists, they make our words look gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Rob, Will, it's been a blast, but I'm going to go to bed because my slippers are turning from glass to I don't know what they did, but I am tired. So good night. And we did it on a weird night, so we didn't really have people in the chat. So I'm going to thank anybody who stopped in and watched a little bit. And if you're listening on the podcast, they say to rate and review it on every other podcast. So I guess do that. I don't know.
Thank you again for doing this for me. I appreciate it, guys. As always, I love hanging with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you again for doing this for me.
Our absolute pleasure. Thank you, Rob.
Good night, everyone.